unto you.
Come on.
This generation shall not pass away.
This generation shall not pass away. Now, if I asked the question earlier, and the question I asked was, how do you know that we are living in a generation that's leading up to the second coming of Jesus Christ? You told me it's because of the prophecies. But guess what? When I say we, who am I really talking about?
Believers. This generation.
But here's the dilemma. We all not in the same generation. See, that's where the dilemma is. See, we have a dilemma. So who am I really talking about? In order to know that, you have to know what time period are we talking about that generation came in. That one generation passed away and another generation was coming in. What generation was coming in that was going to be the generation that was going to be here when Jesus Christ returns? What time period was that? Before we go to that, give me the book of Luke chapter 21. Y'all heard about one generation pass away, right? And another generation cometh, right? But the earth is going to be here forever. So now let's go to the book of Luke chapter 21 and let's see what Jesus Christ said. Luke chapter 21, and we're going to start at Luke chapter 21, and we're going to start at verse 25. Actually, start at verse 24, just to hear that. Just so we can hear verse 24, we're going to start there. I ain't really got no other reason to start there besides wanting to hear that verse. Verse 24, start there.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
Read on.
And shall be led away captive.
Read on.
Into all nations.
Okay, that's why that's where we at now. Okay, this happened. The beginning of it was 70 AD. Everybody understand that? And there's no propaganda like the propaganda of the beast. Do everybody understand that? In other words, there's no lies like the lies of the devil. Everybody got that? Okay, Esau is a liar. Everybody understand that? And the battle has always been between the beast and the Israelites ever since the beast got into power. Everybody understand that? Everybody got that? Everybody got that, right? There always been false prophets. There always been antichrists. But when you read the Bible, you find out that the Antichrist was always a crusty level. Everybody understand that? Those was the ones that the earth opened up and swallowed. They were crushed. Everybody got that? During the time of Moses. They was the first ones to go. Then Israel had to contend with the false prophets like Balaam and Balak and all them cats. Everybody understand that? Then those cats got done. Then it was the governments of the kingdoms of the world that the Israelites, that was the last phase right before the Israelites came into power. They had to deal with the governments that were set up. Do everybody understand that? And when you think about what was going on in Rome, when you look at what was happening during the time of Jesus Christ, you had the religious leaders that were known as the Pharisees and the Sadducees that was governing the nation of Israel. And it was time for the prophecies to be fulfilled in the book of Malachi, where the prophet Malachi had prophesied that the priesthood was going to come to an end. So the manifestation of God the Son, Jesus Christ in the flesh, the time came and the time was fulfilled for him to actually be on the planet Earth. And when he came on the planet Earth, he came to set up another order. That order that he came to set up was another priesthood that was going to be set up, that was going to bring back all the tribes of the nation of Israel, and all the tribes of the nation of Israel was going to be able to be priests under that priesthood, which is actually going to be the forerunner that's alluding to the prophecy of Exodus chapter 19, verse 6, when the Lord stated to the children of Israel through Moses that thou shalt be a kingdom of priests unto me. Everybody got that, right? So that had to be fulfilled, so this was leading up to that time. Now the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they got political. They got politically involved with the beasts. And they became the false prophets, but at that time there was also the Antichrist. The Antichrist has always been Israelites that denied Christ. Do everybody understand that? Everybody got that? Has always been. This is why Esau will tell the biggest lie about the Antichrist. Who you see Esau talking about most of the time? No, who you see when Esau talk about the devil, who you talk about most of the time? Come on, y'all don't know that? The Antichrist. They always tell you that they waiting on one man to stand up against Christ, the Antichrist. And he got 666 on the back of his head. Why Esau want everybody to focus on the Antichrist? Because he know the Israelites. Take the focus off of us. How come they ain't talking about the beasts all the time? Or the false prophets? But nevertheless, let me get through this real quick. The Antichrist was defeated fast during the time of Christ in his ministry. He started, and within 3 years, everybody left the churches. Within 3 years, during Jesus Christ's ministry, people were leaving. How do you know that? They were having councils that's actually recorded in the Bible where they was afraid. They said that the whole world is going after Christ. That's why he was still walking on the earth. Do everybody understand that? Everybody got that, right? So everybody was leaving the church. That's what happened with the Israelites. People leave the church. I ain't talking about the Israelite church of God, Jesus Christ. I'm talking about the church of Satan. And they come to the light. But nevertheless, so they were done quick. The veil of the temple was rent in two. Once Jesus Christ was delivered back to God the Father, letting them know their priesthood was no more. There was no more difference between the holy and the unholy. So now they had to contend with the false prophets as they were going around, as the apostles were going around and teaching. They had to contend with the false prophets. The Pharisees and Sadducees was on a low level. They was already destroyed. And so then after they was dealing with the false prophets, you find out that the beast got involved. The government started getting involved. And that's how the apostles started getting martyred. Do everybody understand that? Everybody got that? And then the real persecution of the church actually started with Nero Caesar. Nero Caesar. He was the biggest liar among that time, where he actually started a fire in Rome and blamed the prospering Israelite church for sparking the fires. And then they went out and they gathered up all the Christians and they were killing a lot of Israelites. And that's how we got scattered throughout the different areas. Do everybody understand that? The ones who knew who the truth was. Now here's the irony in that whole thing. The beast actually had to start getting involved, and the beast is the biggest liar on the planet. Okay, you look at the beast now, George Bush, he's part of the beast, is he not? Through his lies, what happened? Saddam Hussein got hung. So the beast got some lies they can tell. You know the Antichrist gonna tell some lies, but again, they low levels. The false prophet gonna lie like hell, but again, how effective is it really gonna be? They can deceive people, but the beast will lie on you and have the whole world believing their lies. Say, you got weapons of mass destruction in your seat. I mean, y'all ready to deal with the beast? Have you looking like a complete criminal? I mean, you ready to deal with that? Huh? So the last phase of this battle is with the beast. And what's going to happen is they monitoring the growth. They have always monitored. You go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, and see that God is telling you how the ungodly speaks. And they always monitor the growth of the nation of Israel. And then, they want to come against the nation of Israel and see if God is really for them. Let's see how he delivers them. Do everybody understand that? Everybody got that, right? So now let's go back to the book of Luke chapter 21 and read the 24th verse one more time.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
Come on.
And shall be led away captive into all nations.
Read on.
And Jerusalem.
And what?
Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Okay, so what we want to get out of that is the Gentiles have a time, and then their time be fulfilled. This is something, I mean, a lot of times, brothers and sisters, when you're doing unit work or you're trying to convert somebody into the truth, you want to go to the things that's over their head. You don't go to kindergarten and bring people stuff that you learned in college. You understand what I'm saying? You got to realize that the people that you're teaching are on a really, small elementary level when it comes to the Bible and the understanding of the Bible. So you got to keep them. You got to really start dealing with them on the lowest level things that you can teach. The easy stuff. Y'all be trying to get them to see, Revelations chapter 18 and Revelations chapter 10 and Daniel chapter. They're not going to see that. It takes too much. The easy stuff. This right here is easy. Verse 24. How easy is that? There's a doctrine, there's a teaching in the world about the Gentiles was accepted by God. I got one question. Until when? I'm not even arguing with them. I'm not going to argue. If the Gentiles were accepted by God, until when? What do you mean until when? Until when? When is the Gentiles' time up? Gentiles, they're going to go into the kingdom. Well, that's not what the Bible says. When's their time up? See how easy that is? Read that one more time.
Verse 24.
Come on.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
Come on.
And shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
Read on.
Unto the time.
Until what?
The time.
Until what?
The time.
Read on.
Of the Gentiles.
Read on.
Be fulfilled.
The time of the Gentiles. That means everybody got his time. We go through a billion precepts. Time and chance happen to every man. And the Gentiles got time to rule. If you don't think so, let's take a look and go back through history and tell me what nation didn't rule. The African nations ruled, the Asian nations ruled, what nation didn't rule? We go in the Bible and talk about the kings of Moab and how they was ruling.